Boys, today we are going to be making at least one banger in every single division, doing some rare matchmaking. This shit's going to make absolutely no sense because I'm not going to do the traditional, number 2 ranked guy fights the number 1 ranked guy. Number 1 ranked guy could fight an unranked guy for all I care. I'm just making bangers. So let's start off. I'm not gonna lie, also, some of these divisions were hard as hell to get some decent matchmaking, like flyweight and heavyweight. They're probably the weakest on these lists, but they're still bangers. I'm not doing any title fights. I'll do title fights in next upcoming video. I'm not doing that today. These are all just contenders fighting each other. Ranked, unranked, I don't care. Let's start this off. Flyweight division, one of the weaker ones. Again, this shit's sneaky. It's actually pretty good, but it's one of the weaker ones on this fight card. I have Tatsuro Taira taking on Bruno Silva. You can't tell me this shit wouldn't be a banger of a flyweight fight. Bruno Silva, I believe, is fighting Manel Cap in the next coming weeks, but Bruno Silva, a guy that, he's not just a one-trick pony. He can KO you, he can submit you, he can win by unanimous decision, and just a very overall fun fighter who I think match him up with Tatsuro Taira. Someone who, he's okay on the feet, nothing special. Ground game is definitely where he's best at, but give him someone like a Bruno Silva who also has a pretty decent ground game and a decent foot game and a decent striking game. Recipes for fight of the night. I think this would be one of the best, if not the best, flyweight fight you could put on right now. Does it make the most sense? I mean, if he gets past Manel Cap, then Bruno Silva could fight Tatsuro Taira next. I could see that happening. But does it make sense? Absolutely not. I don't care if it makes sense, because moving on to Bantamweight, this shit makes no sense. But take my money, I want this fight. Sean O'Malley taking on Peyton Tabit. This was so easy to make. A fantasy match that 99% of MMA fans would love to see. If both of these guys, Peyton Tabit has already had those comparisons to Sean O'Malley, but Peyton Tabit a little bit bigger, muscle wise, built wise. He has a ground game too. He can submit you. Hasn't shown it too much, but this would be a crazy high level striking fight, and if needed to, I think Peyton Tabit might be able to get to the ground as well. I don't know. I just know. Take my money. I want to see this fight. And if I had to think about it, if I could match up any fight in the division right now, I would probably pick this one. I can't really pick another fight that I would be so excited for than this one. And it's a sneaky good one too. And people who don't watch the sport every single week, they might not know who this Peyton Tabit guy is, but this would be one of the... I think this is my favorite one on this entire list, I'm not gonna lie. I want this fight so bad. Let's go down to that featherweight division, though. Featherweight division, battle of pure power, pure striking power. I mean, it could go to the ground, but I just see this being an all-out war on the feet. Josh Emmett versus one of the fighting nerds himself, Gene Silva. This, again, one of the best fights you could make at featherweight right now. Semi-realistic, not really, to be honest, but this would be a crazy war, fight of the year, performance of the night type of fight. I could see this just being a back and forth, bloody, nasty war. Both these guys, decent chins. Gene Silva probably has the better chin out of these two guys, but Josh Emmett was taking shots from Ilia Topuria, not going down, and we've seen people gain flatline by Ilia Topuria. We've seen the guy with the best chin in the UFC get knocked out by Ilia Topuria. So battle of the chins here, battle of power. I see this ending in nothing but bloody entertainment. And one of the fights I'm more proud of making, because this fight brings both these dudes into the Hall of Fame with their performance. That's the type of fight I expect out of matchmaking these two guys. But let's go down to that lightweight division. Lightweight division, a little bit of a cop-out. We got the boy that can't afford to lose, Moicano, Money Moicano taking on Paddy Pimblett. A very realistic next matchup for both of these guys. And again, just a straight up banger. Mainly on that Moicano side, to be honest. I think Moicano is going to bring it to Paddy. But you go ask some, UFC fighters, what are their, most anticipated fights in that lightweight division that doesn't include a title fight? You take out the people who only say Dustin Poirier, Gaethje, and and Oliveira, and you get to some nitty gritty guys, I guarantee a lot of them are saying Money Moicano versus Paddy Pimblett. It's just a banger of a matchup. I hope they do a tough season around this. They would be stupid not to. But again, I could see them being retarded and having, Wei Lee versus Suarez as the coaches of the next Ultimate Fighter, because they're just built retarded like that, instead of having Moicano versus Paddy. Moicano versus Paddy, if they make that for a tough season, mark my words, it does way better than the Conor versus Chandler one. Mark my words. Let's go down. Welterweight division. Welterweight division was also a little bit of a harder one to make, but I think I got a banger up here. Jack Della Maddalena, JDM himself, one of the best boxers we have, not just in the UFC, but in that welterweight division, taking on Carlos Prates. Now, this could end very fast. This could go into the later rounds, and we see Prates get exposed for having, smoker lungs and not having the cardio to back up a 5-round fight. All I know is the boxing is going to be insane. The striking is going to be insane. I don't think either of these guys are shooting on each other. And it's either, I think if anyone's getting put out cold, it's Jack Della Maddalena. But I either see Carlos Prates chinning Jack, knocking him out cold, or Jack surviving the first 3 rounds and putting on a nasty 10 punch combo on an exhausted Carlos Prates against the cage, getting a TKO win. I could see a 10-round combo ending with a nasty liver shot dropping Prates, something like that. Banger of a fight of the night. Imagine having every single one of these fights on a pay-per-view. I think this would be one of the best pay-per-views we'd had in a very long time, and there's no titles on the line, but regardless, middleweight division, a little bit of a cop-out as well. Israel Adesanya, Chimaev, battle of the two opposites. We have Israel Adesanya, the way better guy on the feet. Then we have Chimaev, the guy who will dominate him on the ground. So it's the battle of the two styles. That's always been a recipe for success in the UFC. We have Khabib versus Conor. We have countless examples of two styles fighting each other and see which one is better. I think this is a modern day version of that. And it does also help that both these guys have a massive name behind them. And, Chimaev arguably hotter than ever before. Israel Adesanya on his way out. Is it as exciting as if Izzy was champion right now? No, not necessarily, but it's still one of the more exciting fights you can put on in the middleweight division right now. But middleweight, kind of a dead division. Let's go down. Light heavyweight division, arguably the next fight for both of these guys. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if we see this shit get booked for next year sometime. But I have Yuri Prochazka, Jamal Hill. I was going to do someone like Yuri Prochazka, Jan Blachowicz, something like that. But I think arguably Yuri versus Jamal Hill is a lot more entertaining, a lot more exciting, and a lot just more of a better build up, a better fight itself. And right now Jan Blachowicz is too unreliable. He's been out for a long time with his surgeries. I just don't know if he's the same dude. Yuri versus Jamal Hill, both these guys are the same guys. And yeah, as much as I want Yuri to go down to middleweight, if he stays at light heavyweight, fuck it, Jamal Hill. Give him Jamal Hill. Let's see who wins. The retarded striking of Yuri Prochazka versus the delusional striking of Jamal Hill. Who wins? I want to see that one. Let's go down, finish this one off. Heavyweight division. Again, one of the worst ones on here. I tried my best, but this division is so ass. I made a whole video on how terrible the heavyweight division is, but I tried my best, y'all. Help me out in the comments below. Let me know your banger for each division if you guys disagree with these ones, especially in this heavyweight and flyweight division. Help your boy out. But for heavyweight division, finishing this video off, you have to have someone with the most knockouts in the heavyweight division in Derek Lewis. Yes, he's been a little bit unreliable in his last fight, but still a fun guy. Most knockouts. We'll put Derek Lewis in here. I'm taking also the fattest man on the planet, the most dynamic man on the planet, Chris Barnett. I'm putting Chris Barnett, Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis, don't get it wrong, also a fat guy, but this boy can land a high kick fairly well, You'll see him fight and you're just, this dude's just a fat dude with a shit ton of power, and he throws this high kick out there and you're just wondering how the hell does he have the flexibility to do so. But with that being said, Derek Lewis, Chris Barnett, run that shit, take my money. I want to see that one. I want to see all of these fights. Let me know which one of these fights are the most realistic to happen and which one is just the most unrealistic to happen. Let me know in the comments below. Also, quickly look at this shit. 99% of you guys are watching this shit for free. Help your boy out. Get to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah, guys, there's really not that much else left to say except for I will see you guys in my next video.